So the Pittsburgh Steelers are a football team. They are in a game that you might watch this weekend, even if you don't usually watch football. One thing to note, the Pittsburgh Steelers insignia is only on one side of their helmet. Why is that? Apparently it's because the guy who originally put it there was not sure it would look good. So they, in effect, only put it on halfway. Then they just decided to keep it that way, which is strange and awesome. The team that the Steelers will be playing against on Sunday is the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay as in Green Bay, Wisconsin. As of 2009, Green Bay is the 268th most populous city in the United States. More people live in Frisco, Texas. More people live in Daly City, California, and in 3 different Springfields than live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The suburb of Dallas called Arlington, which is the place that Sunday's game is going to be played, that suburb has nearly 4 times as many people living in it as the whole city of Green Bay has. So how did Green Bay end up with an NFL team? The NFL's business model usually features gazillionaire team owners, right? Cities that don't have enough money for public schools and cops and teachers build ginormous stadiums because they might attract NFL teams, right? How come little Green Bay has one? Because when the Packers were born, there were pro football teams in towns like Portsmouth, Ohio, and Decatur, Illinois. The Packers are called the Packers because the Indian Packing Company gave the owner of the team $500 for uniforms in 1919 in return for naming rights for the team. Google naming rights tonight and see if you can get any for $500. See if $500 will get you naming rights to anything, including a bake sale. As football got to be big profits, big revenues, big price tags on the teams, right? Big stadiums. Most of those once upon a time small town teams wound up relocating to places like Chicago and Detroit. But not the Packers. Because the original owners, who were from Green Bay, did something amazing. They wrote into their articles of incorporation that any profit from the sale of the team would, I'm not kidding, go to the local American Legion post to build a proper soldiers' memorial. They later updated it so any profit from selling the team would go to a foundation which distributes money to charity. Why is that important? Because that takes the financial incentive out of the prospect of selling that team. Nobody can profit by selling the Green Bay Packers, no matter how wildly successful they are as a business entity. And the fact that nobody can profit from selling them has ensured that the Packers have not been sold. And so they have never left Green Bay. They are the last of the small city, small town teams. And Green Bay, Wisconsin, population just south of Gresham, Oregon, has an NFL franchise because of it, which is kind of awesome. But wait, there's more. Woo! Yeah. In 1950, in the age before TV money made every team super, super rich, the Green Bay Packers found themselves strapped for cash. The team was not making enough money. They were in trouble. Not willing or even really able to sell the team itself to remedy that problem, the Packers hit on the idea of selling stock in the team so they could raise money to keep the thing going. In late 1997 and early 1998, they sold more stock at, I think it was $200 a share. But the stock sale was way more of a municipal bond kind of thing than it was like an IPO. Nobody's allowed to own more than 200,000 shares, and there are just under 5 million shares. So nobody's allowed to amass a large portion of the ownership of the team. There are no dividends. There are no capital gains for stockholders. The stock does not appreciate in value. It is not publicly traded. It is a non-profit corporation. So what's the payoff on the stockholders' investment? What is the payoff for the Green Bay Packers' 112,000 individual owners? The payoff is a pro football team in Green Bay. And yes, 3 Super Bowl titles and counting. But also a fan base that is so in love with its team, and a team so in love with its fan base, that the Packer players invented the touchdown celebration move of jumping into the stands for hugs. Watch. Whoop. In some cities, fans throw things at the players. In Green Bay, the players throw themselves at the fans. I scored a touchdown. Hug me, you guys. There are a lot of nonprofits in this world, and a lot of them are saving the world and feeding and clothing people and doing the most important work there is. But there is only one nonprofit in the whole world that has a team in the Super Bowl this year. And that is really weird, and I find it really cool. And when they play the Patriots, I will still root against them, but it does not mean that It's not cool. Happy Super Bowl weekend. That does it for us tonight. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.